Welcome back, everybody. Before we get into these finals, we've seen a bunch of these teams compete. This is, unfortunately for us, going to be the last qualifier of this tournament before we go into the grand finals. And we've just seen great gameplay come out from a lot of people. We've seen teams that we've never seen before, comps that we've never seen before. And all in all, it's been an amazing tournament thus far. That being said, Nada, give us the picks and bans and the draft order for Ion versus Spade and his incredible team.
Yes, sir. This will be the last final in the qualifiers before the grand final. Oh my god. All right. We are looking at, of course, Ion versus Spade and his incredible team. And this time, Spade and his incredible team will be having the first pick and the first ban. And that ban will be Coco. So no more Moke, no Coco, I'm afraid. The response ban will be Ayla. Once again, it seems like Ion has an affection for banning Aylas overall. Right? Well, first pick for Spade and his incredible team will be Scoop, shutting down already 2 nods from Ion's side. So they're going to have to opt for something else. And that something else will be the response of a Penny Fox and a Froggy G. So high damage. We have the dashes. We have a lot of things going on here. A good pick. Response to that will be a Swiggins and a Nibs. So constrainment and, well, barbecue. That is what we're looking at here. Fire and ice and a squid on Spade and his incredible team. For Ion, the last pick will be Vinny and Spike. So once again, getting that silence cloud. And just to recap here, we have a Penny, Froggy, and Vinny fighting a Nibs, Swiggins, and Scoop. That being said, let's go on back to Agion.
Ready when you are. Let's get this countdown going and get into game 1.
Yes, sir. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And we are dropping. And we are seeing a Robo Scoop, just a little... Notice if you look at Dave W, he will be wearing his Robo Scoop with pride.
And we see both teams, as we said before, Agion, and we're going to see Spade start with that engagement. Nibs is taking a lot of damage. Nibs is taking a huge chunk of damage. Ubi will be forced to go back. Spade will be forced to go back. And all members of both teams are half health or less. That is not something that we see early on in the stages of Agion.
No testing the waters.
No testing. Not at all.
This is the heated pool. Everyone gets to go in. It is a mess. It's a wild, ferocious beast everywhere.
We're going to see Dave W use his hammer on Robbie. Robbie is going to be the person that they're going to be focusing. They really want to take him out very quickly. Spade and Ubi both decently low, as Ubi steals both of those creeps from Spade.
Oh, no stealing except creeps. Kills, on the other hand, is totally permitted. I just say piggy to hammer pants.
And we're also seeing a P into blue heart medallion.
All right, well, the 2 bursters burst and burst.
And we see the huge burst coming out as Spade is going to be forced to retreat. And a nice body block from Dave W and the counter attacks coming out on Ubi and Spade and Dave W as well.
I am thrilled to see so much aggression happening in the finals and the last finals. It's very suiting in a way.
It is very suiting. Both of these teams are high-octane teams. They know when they need to engage, know when they have to back off, and Ubi being very smart with his Nims, dealing a lot of damage and utilizing the teleport as an escape mechanism as opposed to engage mechanism.
That is, as far as I know, the most efficient way of using Nib's Orb. Getting yourself in those really out-of-position places and just disappearing, leaving magicians everywhere startled and wondering how this could be done.
And Spade taking a huge pulse from Penny. Actually, all 3 members of Spade and his incredible team taking a pulse from Penny. A nice pulse coming out on Robbie. And we're going to see the engagement start, and Dave W having a lot of damage being dealt, but the body blocks from Spade and Ubi are going to secure his safety, as he'll be able to pick up some health as well as use his bindings to remain on the map.
Oh, well, it is super tight back and forth. I think we're seeing, these one-shot combos going in, everyone using everything they have, and then sort of charging up, refueling, and then getting ready to explode once again.
And going back to the lane clearing, 3 minutes in, we've seen these engagements happen very quickly. A lot of bursts coming out on both teams as it's been decently back and forth. And the first push is going to go to Ion as they're going to get the first poke in on that turret and take about a half a bar off of it.
It really feels like both teams have just skipped out on the early game and went straight for the mid-game ham.
I agree 100% with you. This is not your typical Augion gameplay, but as we said before, with these high-octane teams in the finals, they've opted for a very fun and optimistic style of gameplay, dealing a lot of damage to everybody, and Dave W is going to be the first person to go down. 4 minutes in, Spade is going to be the second person to go down, and Robbie, and actually Magno is going to escape. Ubi is going to be getting very low, as it seems the dash is going to miss, but the turret, the one poke down, and Ubi goes down. All three members of, Team Spade and his incredible team have been taken out.
All right. That is. Oh wow. The turret has been taking sniper lessons, been learning from Ray, and is now ready for long range combat.
As Magno goes into that top lane, takes that top health, Rob is going to be teleporting back as Dov is going to be on lane with Magno. Robbie back in there, and the burst starting up again from Spade and his incredible team. Dave W starting with the engagements, and as we saw earlier, Bet's opting for his kind of secure kills with his hammers. We're seeing the opposite as Dave W is opting for engagements with his hammers.
Well, if you can hook Swiggins, get close enough, and you hook up, get the Nips fire in, that's what they want, and that's what they want to do.
And that's what they're looking to get. Unfortunately, a mispositioning on Ubi's part there will allow him to get picked up by the droids.
The droids are the MVP. Lane. The eternal MVP of the match, the droids.
Well, they do the most damage on those turrets.
And they do soak up a lot of damage as well. Sometimes they get a kill because they want fame.
In that case, they got it, and Spade is going to be caught out of position. A lot of damage being dealt. We see that burst coming out for Ion. On the contrary, we also have a huge burst for Spade and his team, that being the Fire, the Swiggins, and the Scoop.
The whole... The Ion comp really relies on everyone being on point and really hitting it. And I think as long as every, link of the chain does their job, it will be a near foolproof concept. But as soon as one of the sort of links in the chain breaks, it is going to go badly. And that's where I think Spade and his incredible team comes in and really can punish and to some extent, using the same metaphor, break the chain.
And that's where Pneumatic Spoon comes into play, because if you get the chain break, that damage is going to be a lot. So you really don't want to try and break the chain.
And if he gets Amplify, just imagine Amplify and Nibs. And then regret that you did that, because that is terrifying.
Dave W and Ubi into this top lane, as Robbie looks like he'll be going back to pick up an upgrade. He has around 240 solar, along with the Frog as well, who I believe is going to either opt for the 300 damage, the Hydro Pump, dealing some damage, and Ubi being very smart once again with his fire. Dave W being the tank that he is, taking that damage, mitigating a lot of it for his team, and really focusing on being in the correct position to secure safety for his team. Dom opting for his regen build once more, picking up the Goldfish. He's going to have a decent amount of damage once he gets back up to, he is already there at 150.
He's actually at 165. Or actually 650 actually. We can numbers here at the Awesome Cup too.
Spade clearing up that bottom lane as we see Ubi and Dave W in the top jungle just awaiting their prey. Robbie is a great penny, and we see his pulse come out a lot. And whenever he uses it, he seems to always manage to pick up two people within it.
And that is the big AoE sort of multi-damage target. That's the whole idea of this comp. Oh,
And
look
we
at the
saw right
shutdown.
there, but the counterattack coming out, and the Dove goes down in the process, but not before Ubi gets picked up. It was a very quick attack from both teams.
That was, within milliseconds that Mokno knew that, oh, the Dove is going down. Best get in there and secure the kill.
And Mokno taking a lot of damage, but Robbie playing the defensive, pouncing him back, and really thwarting off the threat that is Dave W and his scoop.
Oh, man. Opting for damage and actually piggying for that extra brutally whipped cream for all your crying milk needs and whatnot.
The tactical piggy banks.
Yes.
So seen fit to call them. Spade is going to be taking a pulse along with Dave W. And we see Robbie, he doesn't have many charges right now, or any charges, I should say. Looking for charges, we'll be able to pick them up on the bottom lane.
Well, Penny is always on the prowl for charges. Saying that to quote one of my favorite pennies in the game, Space Admiral Leica. If you are on the EU queue, you most likely have seen this almost urban legend of a penny just going around.
We see that engagement start. Dave W having a lot of damage, and Ion looking to pick up the kill on Dave W, forcing themselves into the fire of Ubi, playing a very defensive Nibs, utilizing the fire very carefully, and able to pick up the kill. And he's going to get the kill on Mokno again, as the anchor will anchor him down into the jump head, and he will not be able to escape that which is Spade and his incredible team.
Neither Spade nor his incredible team will be escaped.
And the no-clip fire coming out, hitting a lot of damage on Robbie. Robbie's going to be forced to defend against the entirety of them, as it seems that Dove has made his way back into the map.
He is, but Ubi is in this, and with that flame, I was about to say comes great responsibility, but there really doesn't. It's just damage.
With such high damage comes great responsibility. Ion playing very smart, noticing the invis, and they know Ubi has it, and he can deal a lot of damage if they're caught out of position, utilizing their turret as a nice defensive mechanism to wade out the invis.
Sometimes it makes sense just to, wait it out, make sure you know who is invis, and then evaluate, is that going to be a problem for me? Should I wait it? And if you evaluate that is going to kill me if it gets me, then you just stay out of reach. Stay out of reach. That is what you do.
Especially if it's a very burst-centered comp and you don't know who has invis, any member of that team can deal a lot of damage. And it looks like they're going to start the engagement. Dov is going to be snared down by the hammer, and he may be going down to DOT, but his regen cloud and that creep will secure him safety. A very nice engagement by Spade and his team.
I think G-Dove made a mistake opting for damage and not getting that silence cloud.
Well, I would disagree with you in that aspect due to the pulse on Penny, and I think that they're building around that.
I think they're building around heavy damage, but I think the shutdown potential of Spade and his incredible team, the entirety of them have such great shutdown capabilities. They can cancel that dashy attack pattern that Ion has adopted, and I really think that they need that sort of backbone to rely and get out safely, because I think what's going to happen is they go in, they get the kill, and they get wiped.
Well, we always speak about buying damage upgrades early on, and this is one of those situations where you can opt for a utility upgrade.
Silence is more than utility, I'd say. Silence is a way to negate directly damage, not just reduce, it is directly negating damage, which I think in most cases can be just as viable.
As we see Ion proceed into these top turrets, they're actually going to opt for the bottom turret. And Spade is going to start that engagement, or excuse me, Dave W with the hammer, Spade following up with the anchor. Unfortunately not able to make anything of it on his end, and Ubi waiting. And Ubi is basically the safety and security for these kills. We have Dave W starting these engagements, Spade following up with the middle attack, and Ubi teleporting in or out, dealing a lot of fire damage in effort to pick up these kills.
And you can see Robbie actually picking up those sentient rocks and getting that silence in, because It is important, really important versus this
And
comp.
what else is important is the insane amount of burst that Ion can deal at one given time. That pulse is going to set up a lot of extra damage for them. Having that double dash on the Frog and the Vinny is an extreme amount of damage in a very short amount of time.
It is absolutely crucial, and get the damage in, rolling with the mentality that if they die, they don't hurt you. But unfortunately, I'm still going to take the pessimistic
And
stance.
a huge amount of damage being dealt across the board as Robbie is going to be taken out in the process by the DOT on Eternal Flames from Nibs.
And there goes the push. No silence to deny. I am going to go old grumpy man now and say, I told you so.
As it seems that Spade has started their assault on this top turret. The bottom turret is damaged on map. It's a little bit more than half, and Ubi will pick up Dov in the process. But as you said before, that silence could be very powerful and could really help them out a little bit more than the damage. And as we see now, that silence is coming out.
I told you, young. To once again try to be old man like Devmon, but nonetheless failing.
As we see the speedometer build once again on Scoop.
I have a slight feeling it might be the meta, but...
What could have possibly led you to that conclusion, sir?
Well, speaking
We
for about
digress.
11 qualifiers.
As we see the Spoonman upgrade and the speedometer build, obviously, on Scoop. But I think the counterattack from Penny, and I think once Penny gets silenced too, I think that's going to
Penny
be
has
very
silence.
deadly.
It
I
is
keep
deadly.
getting confused with those upgrades on Penny. With
Imagine like the
Sentient
bug
Rock.
jars. The
Yeah.
rug is the silence, and the salt and pepper, which is the bug jars, are the damage. They imagine it like they add salt to the death. That's how I remember it.
Okay, fair enough. I could fall on board with that. Nibs is going to get that Vorin picture, which is going to be the extra damage on the fire breath per tick.
It is also autographed, making
By
killing
who?
all the more sweeter.
By
It's
who?
autographed by Warren himself.
That's right. So now we're going to see Team Ion really focus in and hone in on these turrets. As we are in the mid-game of this match, both teams have basically pushed in the direction of their generalized build. And we're probably going to see Poolboy come out next for Swiggins.
Oh, yes, that is most likely. And as far as I have concluded, Spade also likes to do a high HP Swiggins rolling with with shield as well. So I don't think we are going to be seeing attack speed coming out of the AA.
And it seems Ubi has picked up Invis and Dov in the process up there. Unfortunately, the autocam did not catch it.
Oh well. We are
Spade proceed into his bottom lane. Robbie landing the nice pulse on Spade, forcing him to go back. That bottom turret still has 2 bars left. Spade is going to be dealt a lot of damage. Ubi using that defensive fire once again to secure safety for Spade. And both of these teams have such synergy, and we speak about this every single time. Knowing where your teammates are, knowing what they can do in relation to you, and being able to help them out in any way, shape, or form.
being politically and what is that called? You are being legally correct by saying that they would help in any shape, way, or form.
Whether it be a body block, whether it be utilizing an ability, and the no-clip fire dealing a lot of damage to Machno, as he will be forced to go back and grab some HP. Robbie's still defending this bottom turret, which has about a half a bar left, and Spade's team can go in and take that at any point if they please.
Oh yes, that is. It is more or less just a memorabilia of what it used to be. One of those frail museum pieces. That is what this turret is.
It's a frail museum piece about to be stolen, as Ubi's dealing a lot of damage across all 3 members of Team Ion, and that is going to be the bottom turret, and potentially Dov. And it is going to be Dov as he goes down to Dave W and the hammer down the jump pad.
That sounds like a rock band or like a hip hop band I'd listen to. Dave
Golf.
W. and the Hammer.
Dave W. and the Hammers. I could get on board with that.
All aboard the Hammer train.
Machno clearing out these bottom lanes, and that is going to be 2 turrets down for Team Ion to compared to the 2 damage turrets of Team Spade.
Well, if I will just quickly speed over there, and I will scoot over to the turret and conclude that they will go down in the next double kill.
Or single kill, potentially. One could go down.
With the droids pushed as such, I think it would require a double kill in the current state of the game.
And Spade is going to be back. Ion notices that, and so does Spade and his team. They know that he's back. Both teams are aware that there is one less team member on the map for the other team, or their team respectively. And we'll go back to clearing the board. Top lane going to Spade and his team. Bottom lane going to Ion. They're looking to be sneaky ducks.
Quack.
As the hammer goes in, is going to be a double hammer on Robbie and Machno. Another hammer coming out. Robbie's going to be taking a lot of damage from this residual hammer assault. And Spade dealing a lot of damage to Dov. The hammer coming in. Dave W going for the bindings. And Ubi landing some of his fire, but not before Spade takes a huge chunk.
Oh.
But Machno getting caught out by the hammer and the squid as he will be taken down right into his dash. Excuse me, not his dash, his NATO. Ubi maybe getting picked up in the process if Dave W can't come to the rescue, but is going to be a counter attack, and Robbie will be picked up in the process as Spade and his team have proceeded to go to these last 2 turrets.
Stuck between a hammer and a squid plays.
It's not a good place to be in,
No.
especially with a 4-second cooldown on the hammer.
Oh no. Now you see it, now you don't. And now
Bottom
you see it
lane
again.
is going to be assaulted by Spade again. Spade continuing to deal damage to this bottom turret. Dov having to defend both of these turrets, but luckily for him, Machno is back, and he can switch up places and be alleviated of some stress as all members of Team Ion are back on the board, and they will be able to defend against Spade and his team. And they proceed to continue their assault. Spade, but that drop of the silence cloud will disallow any further engagements from Dave W and Spade. Ubi had started his fire before the cloud was dropped, so he will be able to continue his fire until it actually runs out. And I believe that's not Arbe. That's a shield. That's a can't touch a shield.
You cannot touch that shield unless you do more than 400 damage.
I believe that's a very smart upgrade for Machno to pick up.
Great for canceling out that DOT. And, you know, face tank some stuff with the NATO. Quite possibly going into tweeters after this.
Potentially. As a huge 700 dive on Ubi is going to be dealing an immense amount of damage. Dave W is going to go down in the process.
Oh, look at
Machno
the
will
hammer.
pick up the kill. And Ubi will be saved by Dave W.
That was a great hammer. Just note that was a really great hammer. Had that been anything but a frog, that would have been a great escape.
As it seems Team Ion has secured themselves the lanes now. We see a split push. Dov is going to be having a lot of damage dealt on him, but Spade is going to go down in the process. A 1-for-1 exchange, but that is going to be the top turret down in favor of Team Ion. Both turrets for Ion, the last 2 turrets, are weakened on the map, but we're going to see Ubi utilize the teleport once again, trying to escape, but Machno is going to pick up the kill and secure his safety by utilizing that health pack.
Technically, the turret died after a double kill, so I will write that down as a win in my book.
You could chalk it up as a win for you this time.
All right. Score is now 15-16, with you being in the lead. I will get you.
When did I secure these points?
That would
Dave
ruin the
W.
fun if you knew.
It would ruin the fun if I knew. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. As we see Robbie clearing up those bottom lanes once again. Spade and Dave W in these top lanes. Spade picking up that health and clearing up this bottom lane once more. Robbie being very vigilant in deciding on his targets. Same thing goes for Spade. As we now see both teams proceed into the creep zones, looking to secure kills. I think that Spade and his team really need to focus out Robbie.
Well, I think, you know, the shutdown of the Vinny would do equally well, but I see why you
And
were
it looks like Vinny is going to get shut down, and Robbie is both going to, and they are both going to get shut down. As Machno, who's going to be forced to defend against the lanes that are going to be cleared for Spade and his incredible team.
And we are looking at that shield Swiggins that I was talking about earlier. That Spade, just tanky, killy, everything dies.
And that is going to be the third turret down in favor of Spade and his incredible team, as they are going to proceed to take the fourth turret down, and they are going to retreat as all members of Team Ion are going to be back on the map. Machno going to be able to clear out these top lanes, but the droids on the core are going to take off about a half a bar, and that is permanent core damage. We say this every single time, and if you don't know it by now, it's permanent damage on structures.
The permanent damage is, well, permanent. You can't get rid of it, and it will help you win bit by bit. We've seen it. 99 did it towards the turrets in the game we saw before this one, fighting Ion. Just get so much, well, just get as much damage in you can as possible.
And we see the engagements occurring as Spade is going to proceed with Dave W trying to pick up a kill. Ubi in there for the fire. Nothing able to come out of it, but look at that counter burst coming out for Team Ion as they're able to pick up Dave W in the process, but Ubi will not go away without picking up Dog. And we're going to see Spade re-engage with Ubi on that counter engagement. Robbie's going to be forced to go back. Machno is going to be forced to go back. That's going to be some few chunks off of the core in favor of Spade and his incredible team, as Ubi and Spade will be back in effort to pick up some health, maybe pick up an upgrade or two. Ubi has been relentless with his assault as Nibs this game.
He has. And now Spade is on a shopping spree of HP and sustain. HP, shield, HP. Just so he is making himself strong. He is buffing himself.
As we see Robbie going back to clearing up the lanes along with Dov.
No, that's a range upgrade for the periscope. Oh, no, the periscope for the anchor hook, of course.
And all three members of Ion going back to that clearing phase. As you said before, Spade is very strong with his sustain at this stage of the game. He's got HP, he's got that shield, he's got anchor sustain. He's built health for his anchor.
That's what I said. It is pretty, it's pretty goddamn sturdy. How are you going to kill things when they have so much HP?
And the answer to that is burst, my friend, before he can even drop his shield. As we see Dave W trying to start the engage with the hammer. Invis is going to waste for Spade, as he will not have his pool boy anymore. He's utilized it. Robbie missing the pulse in the top lane, but the re-engagement starting, and the silence cloud has been dropped. Dave W is going to go down from the counter burst once more from Team Ion. Ubi is going to be dealt a lot of damage, but Robbie is going to be dealt a lot of damage in the process. Machno goes down to Ubi, and that is going to be a 2-for-none exchange, a double kill in favor of Team Ion. They need to clear these lanes very quickly and focus on a turret. Even if it's a single turret at this point, have two members clear out those turrets and proceed to go for that final turret. Dave W is now back into the drop pod, as Ubi will be in the drop pod at the same time.
They have to move up. They have to be aggressive right now. This needs to go down. They will get that extra solar burst they need and just get the final damage, and so they can push in and grab the base and perhaps the victory for the first game of the finals in the last qualifier.
As all three members of Spade and his team are back on map, we see them ready to set something up, waiting for Dave W to hit that hammer so they can start the engage. If all three members of Team Ion are in that area, you will see Spade continue the engagement with Ubi as the follow-up secure kill.
Oh,
And it seems Ubi's going to start the fire, but a lot of damage being dealt across the board. Dave W picking up Robbie, and Machno is going to be hunted down along with Dov, and Dov is going to land his spike dive on Spade, but not before Spade will able to be picking up the kill on him, and we're going to see some core damage once more as we see Spade and his team try and pick up this core and secure victory in game 1, as Spade is playing a game of chicken with Machno, if you will.
Well, in that case, Mokno would be the chicken and Spade would be the farmer. It's that kind of game.
A frog versus a squid is majority of the time not going to go well for the frog.
If he didn't catch it, Spade is going to slaughter him.
If he can get in there. He does have Invis, and Team Ion notices this. They are going to be playing once more in that very defensive style of play, noticing Invis and waiting for that counterattack. We've seen Team Ion utilize this style of play and land their counterattacks to be able to pick up kills in a manner that is just unseen in public play. And obviously this is tournament play, so these teams have been playing together for a while, and they know the ins and outs of each character, know how to utilize them in manners that can secure them kills, especially on counter initiations.
Counter initiations are a huge part of fighting versus this comp, and with that comp that Ion is using, it's all about, knowing when to re-engage, because if you do too soon, you will not have enough to get out. You do too late, they get out. It's a very, very, very short time frame we're operating on when talking about counter initiation.
And I believe the counter initiation, they're seeing Dave W launch these hammers. Once Dave W uses a hammer, that's the time that they should be looking to counter initiate.
That is their time frame of 4 seconds from hammer is out to everyone go on one person.
As we see both teams once more, Spade has that Invis. Ion needs to play very defensively in order to be able to counter initiate, as we said before.
We are looking at the tense final moments here. One to decide what happens here. We're looking at one anchor, one dive, one hammer, anything.
And that is correct. Anything can secure a victory here for Spade. On the other hand, a double kill can potentially be the victory for Team Ion, but we see the engagement begin. Dave W, he's trying to secure safety, and we're going to see Spade securing a potential kill, as he's going to be looking to do some core damage. The droids have reached the base. That's a lot of damage. I'm not sure if they can counter-initiate on this.
Whoa.
Dave W picking up the kill. Dave W is going to get a double kill off that, and Dave
that was a close wipe.
That was a very close wipe, and Spade and his incredible team overpowered Team Ion as they took the core. What could have went differently for Ion?
Well, I think the early silence cloud would have changed something, but other than that, I really think it came down to trying to counter initiate rather than initiate. It quickly turned to a counter initiate, and I think they had a better comp for actually initiating. Going in for Nibs before she does fire, I think would be a much safer bet, especially for the low HP frog. And of course, Vinny with his low mobility is a huge target for Swiggins. And I think had they gone in for the more aggressive approach, I think they could have done something a little bit different.
That being said, I agree with you. And we are going to go into Game 2 of the finals of the last qualifier of the Alienware Awesome Cup 2. But before we do so, we know what you want. We know what you're going to get. You guys are going to get another chance to basically secure yourselves a Robo Scoop. That being said, keep an eye out.
It's like winning the finals in the chat. You win the chat final if you do this.
You win the chat finals. That is correct. Keep an eye out in the Twitch chat. A Twitch mod will be giving you instructions once again on how you can enter yourselves to win a Robo Scoop. That being said, we will be right back with Game 2 of Team Ion versus Spade and his incredible team.